I sold mommy's property to raise money for my husband to go to school in UK. She called my husband useless, manipulative, and that is a user. That the only reason my husband is with me is because of what he can get. Hello, hi. Hello, you're welcome to Life Stories with Bussy. I just want to say thank you for being my regular companion every week in, week out. Some people are in the comment box, dropping their comments and telling us what they feel about stories that people write in. And I've always said that those comments are very important because the reason why people send in their stories is because they want your honest opinion about some things. And the only way they can get that honest opinion is if you put your comment in the comment section. So don't just watch the video and be part of the views. Please drop your comments. These comments are very, very important. Very important. Today I have another story from a lady called Adetoun, and I'll just go straight into the story so that I don't make this video too long. Hello ma, my sister did me dirty and I feel so bad that my only sister is doing this to me. My mental health is at stake and I really needed someone to talk to. Someone says that her mental health is at stake and she needs someone to talk to. So that's one of the reasons why you should leave your comments, because someone like her will be reading. She would want to know your opinions about whatever she's going to tell us today. So she goes, my name is Adetoun and I am 29 years old. I am married with 5 children and currently pregnant with my 6th child. I just took from my mother. Adenike, my sister, is 27 and she's married too. She lives in the US. I was 18 when I got pregnant for my first child and I had to stop school. When I wanted to return to school at 20, my mother said my sister, Nike, needed all the money she could muster for her admissions into school in London. Nike had always been the intelligent one, and some church members were interested in her education. And Mommy, that's her mother, Mommy said that she had to meet the sponsors at a point. I felt somehow, but Mommy made me realize that my sister's win is mine too, and it will pay both of us in the future. For the next 2 years, she kept sending money to Nike for school and upkeep. Mommy had 2 houses, so the rent from the tenants all went into Adenike's education. Unfortunately, I got pregnant at 21, and Mommy was really mad and insisted that I had to go and live with my baby daddy. She said that she didn't think I was serious. It was a mistake I really regret. We did little introduction and I moved in. Things were not so good for my husband financially, but my mother always came to our aid. Fast forward to 2018, Mommy fell ill and we tried to manage her, but she passed in 2019. It was such a dark period of my life. I just had twins and Mommy, my helper, was gone. Twins. That's twins. After the first 2 twins, that's 4. Okay. I just had twins and Mommy, my helper, was gone. My husband encouraged me that it was best to have all my children before looking for work. The twins were meant to be the last, but I got pregnant again and I am pregnant now. Back to my sister. She came home for Mommy's burial and it was obvious she was looking down on me. Everyone noticed it, but I kept my cool. When she was going back, she said she would advise me to go back to school. I ignored her. We got the letter of administration for Mommy's estate and we agreed we'll be sharing proceeds from the rent. Nika went back and I called on her once or twice for help. The highest she would send was £100 with plenty insult that she believes that I should go back to school. Go back to school how? I have 5 small children. What was I supposed to do with them? I struggled to continue Mommy's Ashoke business, but business wasn't booming, especially when COVID happened. Nika doesn't even rate my husband. Every time I call her and my husband is there and wants to speak to her, she will say that she's busy. When we had issues with paying for rent, my husband suggested that we move into the apartment where Mommy was living before she died. I told Nike and she insulted me and my husband that day. We still moved in and she stopped picking my calls. Nike got married and she didn't tell me. She moved to US and she did not tell me. I saw the wedding pictures on my friend's WhatsApp status. She and her husband would travel to different parts of the world. I don't even know the man. My husband said that it's shameful that Nike will be so comfortable and not help us. After all, she was the reason why I didn't go to the university. Really. Okay. We were really struggling. The rent from Mommy's house helped us pay things like school fees. Last year, my husband started toiling with the ideas of traveling to further his education abroad. We had been looking for a way to raise money. I believe that my husband traveling abroad will help our family. My husband suggested that we sell Mommy's other property and that he will pay with interest when he settles down. I didn't tell Nike because she doesn't even pick my calls and she's always insulting me. I sold Mommy's property to raise money for my husband to go to school in UK. I don't know how Nike heard. She called me and there was no name she didn't call me and my husband. She said she was going to take me to court. For once, I shouted her down that my education was sacrificed so that she would go to school. That the good life she's living now is because I agreed to my mother's pleas for her to go to school. Nika said that she owes me nothing and that I allowed my husband destroy my life and I'm still allowing him do same. She said it's immaturity that is killing me. Nika insulted my life. She said if I had sense, I would have educated myself, that I was lazy and using children as an excuse. She said if I sold the house to send myself to school, she would understand. But to send my husband to school was the most ridiculous thing that she has heard. I know that her husband paid part of her school fees when she was in school. So I asked her that if her husband paid her school fees at some point, why couldn't I help my own husband to do the same? That's when she finished my husband. She called my husband useless, manipulative, and that is a user. That the only reason my husband is with me is because of what he can get. Nika said I should talk to people about it. And most people I spoke with said that if I trust my husband enough, it will pay us in the future. I trust my husband very much. He might not have much, but he tries his best. I sold Mommy's house for 60 million and we've started the process of my husband's traveling. But one uncle that Nika reported me to said I should halt the process. He said that I should give Nika half of the money and use the remaining for business. I am pregnant, I am tired, Nika is on my case, my husband is getting impatient and telling me to assert myself as the first child and not allow Nika to climb all over me. What do you think I should do? This wala is too much. Adetoun, I have many things to say. But I'll just say a few words and I'll try so hard not to sound like your sister because you are pregnant. Because I know that pregnant women are very sensitive, so I will try very, very hard. I'll try to choose my words carefully so I don't sound like your sister. You're a Yoruba girl and you would understand this saying, Aborolan sofomoluabi, to ba denue umado dindi. You're 29 years old and I expect that you'll be able to read in between the lines. Okay? First thing I'll say to you, you need to stop getting pregnant. You need to hang your boot after this sixth child. Except you are acting as a surrogate for someone for money, you do not have any business getting pregnant again. Especially because your husband doesn't have adequate means to take care of these children. Even when you had one, your mother was coming to your aid. Now you have 6. There's more to life, there's more to being a woman, there's more to being a wife than being pregnant. So please, you first need to hang your boots. You started having children at 18 and you're 29. What it means is that your first child should be around 11. And you have 4 children after the 11 years old, and you are pregnant again for the 6th one. So you need to hang your boots. It's enough. 2, you need to stop that notion, that idea that you have, that you sacrificed your own education so that your sister can go to school. No, your mother made the decision to send your sister to school, and she probably did that because she wanted Adenike to do better. You had gotten pregnant and she just felt, look, I have another girl and I don't want her to end up like the first one. So she probably felt, look, Adenike is intelligent, let me send her abroad. And it was your mother that made that decision. You had another chance and you blew the chance when you got pregnant the second time. It's done, and I don't want to knock you on that. But hey, your sister doesn't owe you anything. She owes you nothing, and that's the truth. Your sister isn't the reason why your life turned out the way it is. You have to stop blaming your sister. And your sister owes you nothing. She owes you nothing. The third thing is that you portrayed your sister as being rude, arrogant, and blunt. I don't know how she tried to pass the message she was trying to pass to you. She might have been very rude and condescending, possible, but I would want you to look at the message and ignore the way the message was passed or the messenger. What was she talking about? Your sister wanted you to have a good life. She kept on talking about you going to school, and you were using your children as an excuse. She was more concerned about you having a better life. But you were concerned about children. Your children were always your excuse. For me, I feel that if you wanted to go to school, whether you had 10 children or not, you would have gone to school. Your husband would have supported you and you would have gone to school. I feel that if you wanted education that bad, with the support of your husband, you would have achieved it, whether you had 20 children or not. So, I want to look at the message. I am not saying that your sister is not rude or whatever. The fourth thing is that you had no rights, none whatsoever, to have sold your mother's property, without due consultation with your sister. That was so wrong. Isn't it enough that you're using the rents of your mother's house, to cater for your family, and you are not giving Adenike a share, and she hasn't complained? Isn't that enough? Then you went ahead to sell the property? No, that was so wrong. You shouldn't have sold your mother's property without your consultation with your sister. That was a wrong thing to have done. The last thing I'll say is this. I really don't want to say too much about your husband, and I really do not have any problem with you helping your husband to achieve his dream. But I want to ask you a question. If mommy were alive, that's your mom, would she have sold her property to send your husband to school? Even when Adenike was going to school, mommy did not sell the property. And then you decide that you want to sell this property because of your husband. The funny thing about it is that it's telling you to stand your grounds against your sister. But the gist is that you don't even have any ground to stand on. I'm not comfortable with your husband's behavior, but I'm not going to say much about it. But you see this idea of him telling you to sell your mother's property, which you have sold, and that is going to pay you back with interest. Does he think that they pick money on the streets of London, UK, or wherever he's going to? He can be there for another 5 years and he wouldn't have paid that money back. It's not cost, it's just the truth. It's the reality of the time. They don't pick money on the streets. So I don't understand the reason why you will go and sell your mother's property and somebody will tell you that you will pay back with interest, and then you would assume that it's good to go. And then this idea of you thinking that your sister needs to help you. She doesn't owe you anything. You probably think that the moment people travel, their problem has been solved. You were talking about your sister and her husband traveling around the world. Do you know what plans? Do you know the kind of plans they put in place to do that? Different families have different priorities. They can decide what they want to use money for. You don't know what plans. You don't know how long they've been planning to go on these trips. So just because you see pictures of them going on this trip, you assume that they have plenty money. My dear Adetoun, I suggest that you give Adenike a share of the money. Then you take the remaining 30 million, you put it in a fixed deposit till when you give birth to your baby. When you have given birth to your baby, you know, time would have passed. There's a way that time reveals to us the things that we need to know. There's a way that time reveals to us so many things that are hidden. I won't say more than that. I wish you all the best during this pregnancy. I wish you safe delivery. Agbomuya, agbomuomo. No, Jesus. Guys, do you have anything to add or subtract from what I've said? Do you have any additional things to say? I really do not want to go down into a lot of things because I'm just being careful because she's pregnant. I really tried not to be too hard, and I hope I wasn't. I was trying to be careful, but I needed to pass the message. I really do not want to keep knocking on her, but I just want her to be able to get the message. I'll be in the comment box reading this comment. Adetoun will be there too. So next time when I come your way again, my name remains Bussy David. Bye.